Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with the start of another weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday, May the 9th. Yes, it's Monday, not Sunday. I will explain in just a second. It's kind of funny in retrospect, but I was a little annoyed yesterday, let's put it that way. So first of all, before I get into any of this, any of my vlog or anything at all that's happening this week, in the description box below you will find timestamps if you want to jump ahead to any of the individual book reviews that I do over the course of this week. So feel free to use those timestamps below. So yesterday I filmed the final clip for last week's vlog, and then what I did was, because how I record is I record on my phone, and then I take my phone and I actually plug it into my computer. Like, I use the USB cord, and then I transfer the files from one to the other. And, you know, what I did was I filmed that first clip, did the transfer because I really wanted to get that video up, and finished off the editing, so I was almost done editing that vlog. And then as that vlog was exporting, I was recording back on my phone, recording the start to this week's vlog. So I did that. Everything was great. Finished exporting. So I, take my phone again, plug it in with the USB into my laptop to transfer the files over. And I guess I was looking for something on my desk, and I have I have a ton of stuff on this desk in front of me. I have a notebook, and I think I grabbed the notebook to move it, and the phone was sitting on it, and the phone fell. So it actually unplugged itself from the USB cord as the files were transferring. So I was like, oh no, right? And then I grabbed it, I stopped what I was doing, put it back. When the file transferred, it was corrupt. I guess something happened when it came on. I don't know. Luckily, it was only 5 or 10 minutes long, so it wasn't that big a deal. My only complaint is that I did pull from the jar in that video, so I didn't want to redo that again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the books that I have on my TBR for this week. So if you are new to my channel, what I do is I pick my TBR every, a new thing that I'm trying this month, and I'm seeing if I like it. And so far, I am really enjoying this. So I pick a core group of 12 books that I want to read every month, and then I break them out throughout the month. So in the case of May, because May started on a Sunday, I'm doing 3 books a week. And so I pull 3 books out of the jar every week, and then those are ones that I'm going to try and get to, and then I have a couple of other books. So this week I have another 7 books that I'd like to get to. Last week I got to 5 of the 7, which is not too bad. I mean, my end goal would be to get to all 7 of them and potentially read even something else. But in reality, 4 to 5 books a week is really, really good. So I am not complaining about that at all. So let's get into the books that I am going to be reading this week. And some of them I've already started, so I can talk about those as I get to them. And then I actually wanted to show you guys a little bit of crafting, because I haven't done that in a while. So yeah, I will talk about that in just a second. Oh, the one thing I wanted to mention also before I got into the books for this week. If you watched my last week's vlog, towards the end, I did a little book haul, and I talked about that one, that I bought the first book in the Saddle Club series by Bonnie Bryant. Horse Crazy, I think it was called. It's a middle grade series that was out when I was younger. It was the late 80s, early 90s. And, during there was that series, there was Thoroughbred, there was a whole bunch of different horse related books for young people. Girls was the target audience. It was the 80s and 90s. Boys can like horses too. Probably, sometimes even more so. But anyway, so that's a series that I remember reading when I was younger, and it came up in conversation during a vlog, during some live reading sprints that I was in on Saturday. And I was sitting there, and I decided to go ahead and I bought the first book in the series. I bought Horse Crazy on my Kindle. And I'm this might be a series that might be kind of fun to reread as well. Because as you guys probably know, if you've been watching me for a while, I'm rereading through The Babysitter's Club, Nancy Drew, and Sweet Valley High. I'd love to get the Sweet Valley Twins books as well to read through them, but those are a bit harder to find because they're not available digitally. Anyway, so I got it, and then yesterday I decided to start it. So I read 2 chapters in the book and realized that I don't have the nostalgia for this series like I do the Babysitter's Club, Sweet Valley, Nancy Drew. Those definitely hold nostalgia for me, and for me to reread those is a joy because I remember these books from when I was a kid. The Saddle Club books I never bought. I never owned them. They weren't books that I sought out at the bookstore. They were books that if they were at the library and they were available, oh, I'd read them for sure. But they weren't like an, oh my gosh, I need to read these kind of a scenario. So I read that, like the first 2 chapters in that book yesterday, and I was like, I don't see myself wanting to continue. So what I got thinking is that it could go one of 2 ways. Like if I was able to pick up this series, like if my library had them all available digitally, or if Hoopla had them, or if Scribd had them, then I would definitely read it because it wouldn't cost me anything. But I don't have the nostalgia to want to pay for them. Does that make sense? So I could definitely see that there's definitely a target market for these. Like there are people not like me who did really grow up and love the Saddle Club books and, are probably absolutely thrilled that they are available digitally. But for me, they just don't hold the nostalgia. So 2 chapters in, I decided it's not for me. And I actually ended up returning the ebook to Kindle and I got my money back, which was great. Because, guys, I will be honest as well, it wasn't cheap. It was $8.99 for that ebook. $8.99 for a middle grade ebook from the 80s or 90s. It was 135 pages. That is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. So, needless to say, yeah, I'm not going to be continuing on with that one. We're just going to go back to the ones that I was already reading. So that was just a slight beginning note at the beginning of this vlog. So, into the books that got picked. So out of the jar, the 3 books that got picked out of the jar, the first one was The View from Coral Cove by Amy Clipston. And I have it here on my Kindle because I have an e-art copy of it. This actually releases tomorrow on the 10th of May. This is a Christian fiction novel. It is, Christian fiction, inspirational romance, faith-based romance, however you want to look at it. But that's what Amy Clipston is known for. She mostly writes, I think this might be one of her very first contemporary. Usually she writes a lot of Amish fiction, and it's really good. I do like her writing for the Amish books, and I was thrilled to see that she was writing a more non-Amish type story. I have not started this yet, so I have no thoughts on it yet, but I think it's about a woman who actually writes romance novels, who went through a bit of a heartbreak and is back in her hometown kind of a scenario. So I'll update you guys throughout the week as I start. I'm actually hoping to start that one today. So I am looking forward to that one. The other one that I did start yesterday, I actually got this one originally from NetGalley as an audio arc, but I did not download the audiobook in time, and it deleted. So I did find the audio on Hoopla, but I also grabbed the e-copy from my library because I do like to follow along if I can, and that is The Family She Never Met by Caridad. Pineiro, I think is how you say her name. So this is I thought when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, this is a historical fiction novel. But it's really not. It is and it isn't. It's one of those ones that's a dual timeline. So this is modern day, and our main character's name is Jessica, and she has her mother's family she has never met. Her mother and her grandmother do not get along. They haven't spoken since forever, it feels like. The mother was born in Cuba, and I guess during the Revolution, the grandmother came to America and left her there in the care of people, like in the care of family or something like that. And the mother, our main character's mother, kind of never forgot that and has always been a little bit perturbed at her mother for abandoning her, essentially. And then when she was finally brought to the U.S., to Miami, the mother was spending more time with her other children and things. So they definitely have a very strained relationship. I don't believe they even speak anymore. So the grandmother, who's now in her late 80s, has reached out to Jessica, our main character, to get to know her. So that's kind of where the story's going to go. And of course, it's going to go back and forth in time because you're going to find out, what happened in Cuba and stuff like that during the Revolution. So yeah, it sounds great. How far am I into this one right now? I think I'm about 20%. Is it 20%? Bear with me just a second here. Oh no, sorry. I'm only about 12% of the way through this one. I'm not 100% invested yet. But I'm sure I will get there as I continue reading it. So I will, of course, keep you guys updated this week. Oops, my tablet just turned off on me. And the last book for the jar picks is The Homewreckers by Mary Kay Andrews, and I'm very excited about this one. Yeah, this is a Mary Kay Andrews. It's a summer book. I do have it as an audio arc from NetGalley, and I have it downloaded. I'm almost 100% positive I have it downloaded. I don't think it's expired yet, so I'll have to double check. But anyway, I am really, really excited about this one. I love Mary Kay Andrews. She does some great summer books. And this one I think is about like flipping houses or a reality home show kind of an idea. So I will report back more. I hope to get to this one in the next few days. So after that comes the throwback books, and I already talked about the Saddle Club. So this week, the throwback book is going to be Stacey and the Mystery at the Mall by N.M. Martin. This is book number 14 in the Babysitters Club mystery series. So as I've been mentioning, I am reading the Babysitters Club books in publication order. So wherever the super specials, super mysteries, all of those extra books, however they fall in amongst the regular series chronologically, I'm reading them. So this one is here. So I'm reading a mystery this month. I have this on hold from the library. It says it's available soon. If I don't get the book by Friday, what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and buy a copy for the Kindle because it's like $3.99, I think. So I'm not too worried about the price for this one because it's fairly reasonable. And yeah, but like I said, if the library hold doesn't come in by Friday, then I'm going to go ahead and just buy a copy so I can read it this week. What else? So pick my next read. So last Friday, on the 6th of May, I put the video out for you guys to pick my next week's read, and it was close. For the last like 3 or 4 weeks, it's been a definite out of the park. This is clearly the book that won, but this week it literally was going back and forth between these two books. So the first book was the Trust the Rancher, which is the 2-in-1 book, and the other book was The Soldier's Dare. And as of filming this clip yesterday morning, so I decided to cut it off as when I sit down to film this clip on Sunday morning, yesterday, not today, clearly, it's whatever book was winning. And the book that won was A Soldier's Dare by Joe McNally. I'm very excited. And I think a lot of you echoed exactly what I was thinking. Was the reason you wanted me to pick this one was because I'd already started it. I started it back in February, got sick, ended up in hospital, didn't do a lot of reading in February, never finished it. So I'm looking forward to restarting it and finishing it this week. It's the second book in a series. I've read the first book, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks, guys, for picking this one. I understand why people were picking the 2-in-1 as well, but a part of me is really glad because that's a really thick book. I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to have time to get through this this week? But anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It'll all be, it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. So the next book is my Pass the Parcel read. So Pass the Parcel is a challenge that I am doing on the Romance Readers Reading Group over on Goodreads. And it is a 12-week challenge. You sign up in advance. So it runs the 12 weeks, and then they take like 6 weeks off, and then they do another Pass the Parcel challenge. I will try and remember next time for anyone who's interested that when it's announced to let you guys know. So if you want to go on and join, you can, like to get signed up for a team. So essentially the way it works is that every week, like you're split into teams, and every week they pick a prompt or a challenge. And you need to find a book to read that is based on that challenge. And it goes from there. So for this week's prompt was to read a book that has more than 5 colors on the cover, not in the cover, but on the cover. So even though it's the Romance Readers Reading Group on Goodreads, I did pick a cozy mystery. And that is Pleading the Fish by Bree Baker. This is the final book in the Seaside Cafe mystery series, and I am both nervous and excited about reading this one because Julianne Lindsay, who is Bree Baker, she knew that the series was going to end, and she got to end this the way she wanted to. So a lot of stuff that's kind of been kept secret from the reader throughout the course of the series is being revealed in this book, and I'm very excited. So yes, it does have the 5 colors. So we've got green, red, blue, white and gray, they're counting as colors, yellow, you know, like there are definitely the 5 colors are within this cover, so it fits, and I was approved and they said, yes, this book absolutely works. So I'm very excited. I did start it yesterday. I don't want to give away too much right now because this is the final book in a series. So for those of you who have not read the series, I don't want to ruin any surprises. So I am going to be very vague with this one when I do talk about it this week. But yeah, I am reading this one and I'm very, very excited about it. And last but not least, I do like to have a Harlequin book from my massive collection, both physically and digitally, of Harlequin books. Even though I am reading The Soldier's Dare and I am reading, you know, the ones for my Harlequin Anticipated Reads vlog that I'm doing on the side. But I like to pick one extra. So I did a random pick from my Gloss app, which is the app that when I buy ebooks from Harlequin, that's where I read them from, is the Gloss app. And I did a random pick of a book, and a book came up, and it was the second in a series, and I'm like, no, I'm really trying to be good with series, and I went back and found the first book, so I bought that one. Kind of defeats the purpose, I know, but I'm trying to read books in order, and that book is Wrangling the Rich Rancher by Sheri Whitefeather. This is the first book in the Sons of Country series, and it's a desire novel. I'm very much looking forward to it, so that one hopefully will get read this week as well. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for this clip today. Oh, no, wait, my crafting. So I've really been getting back into my cross stitch over the last few weeks. It took me a while after being sick to pick it back up again, but I'm excited about it again. For those of you who watched my floss tube channel, the Tea and Stitches, I don't know if I'm going to go back to that. I haven't decided. I don't know if I'm stitching enough to have enough content for that. Maybe I'll just do a monthly update over there. I don't know. I'm not doing anything with the channel right now. Nothing has been uploaded there since the beginning of the year. So I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. But I know, like, I am the bookish knitter. A lot of you like seeing these kind of things. So just thought I'd show very, very briefly that, so all of my cross stitch projects, like every month, I pick 5 to work on. Like, those are the 5 I'm going to work on for this month. And I put them in a wheel, and I spun the wheel, and then for 3 days I will work on that project. So the project that I'm working on today, actually I should go to and show you guys the full piece, like what it actually looks like. Whoops, go back. So let me do that first, and then I'll show you where I'm at, and then I can show you in a few days how far I get on it. So patterns. So this is actually a pattern that I'm stitching for my mom. She has seen it. She knows what the finished piece will look like, and I did that because I wanted to make sure it was something she was going to like. I didn't want to take all this time to do this to have it not be something that she liked. And it's called Christmas Birds, and the designer is Owl Forest Embroidery. I will try and remember to leave link to them below. But that, take the glare off. But that is, sorry for the glare on this one here, you guys. But that's the finished piece. So it's all cardinals, if you can see. So there's cardinals and, you know, little, it's a sampler essentially, right? So there's more my mother loves cardinals, absolutely loves them. She said she saw one the other day by the pool, and she said my dad was visiting when she saw, because I guess that's kind of the lore with a cardinal, that if they visit you, it means a relative that's passed away is visiting and saying hi, which I think is kind of sweet. So anyway, that's how far I've gotten so far. So got this. I'm working on one of the cardinals now. So yeah, so I'm going to put some more work into this over the next few days, and I'll update you guys as I can. I am working from home today, which is fantastic. So I get to work on this on my lunch break, which will be great because I'm not driving home. And yeah, so I am looking forward to that. But yeah, so that's it. Okay, I've rambled on enough in this clip. I will update you guys tomorrow. I'll talk to you then. Bye. Wild and crazy Monday night here at the house. We have a passed out Presley. Sort of. Hello, Presley. He's cute. I am doing some live sprints over on Leash channel, Dark Root Creations. I will link it below. And Tiffany and Storm are there. I've got my camera off right now because I was doing something. And reading, a little knitting. Yeah, this is my night. The Presley and I. Relaxing. Relaxing, huh? That face. That face. He's such a good boy. Yeah. Hi friends, happy Tuesday. Today is the 10th of May and it is about 8:30 in the morning. I am up, I am dressed, I am showered, I've made my lunch. I'm ready to go. It's a day in the office today. Typically what I do on days that I have to go into the office is that I know that I need to leave just before 10 a.m. And it doesn't take me that long really to get ready. So 10 o'clock, like 10 to 10 is like my latest to leave the house because I want to make sure I get there in time. My start time is 11 a.m. Traffic, you never know, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, what I typically would do is that at 9 o'clock is when I would start getting ready. I would shower at 9, get dressed, go downstairs, make my lunch, have my breakfast at the same time, blah, blah, blah. Kind of be rushing around for that last like hour and then rush out the door. And this morning I was up and I'm like, you know what, let's just go and get a shower now and get all that done. So here it is 8:30 in the morning and I'm done. I made my lunch already. I'm ready to go. My lunch is in the fridge downstairs. I just have to grab it on my way out the door. And I'm like, now I've got an hour and a half to sit and relax, which is kind of nice. So I'm here sitting down with you guys to have a little chat this morning, a little bookish chat. So yeah, that's been my morning so far. So got my coffee. I'm just waking up, just having my coffee. I have to wait to have anything to eat about a half an hour after I get up because I have to take thyroid medication. So you're supposed to wait like a half an hour to an hour after taking it. I don't know. Anyway, I just do what the doctors tell me to do. So so reading update for yesterday. Not too much to update you guys on. I don't even have any of the books in front of me. So the only thing really that I read yesterday was Pleading the Fish by Bree Baker. And again, I don't want to talk too much about that because the final book in a series. I'm about I almost want to say I'm like 30% of the way through. I'm like 7 chapters, about 30% of the way through it. I'm really enjoying it. I am reading it and listening to it on audio. It's being narrated by Therese Plummer, who does all of the books in that series, and it's fantastic. She does such a great job with that series. So yeah, again, I don't want to say too much because it's final book in a series, but when I'm done it, hopefully in the next few days, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it as much as I possibly can. I might do a whole spoiler, like flash something up on the screen that has spoilers, just so those of you who have not finished the series can skip it, kind of an idea. So anyway, yeah, but I did decide to DNF a book yesterday, and that was The Family She Never Met by Caridad. Pineiro, I think. I'll have the cover flashed up here for you guys. So I mentioned yesterday when I was doing my first clip of the vlog that it was a book I hadn't really gotten into yet. And I was hoping to start liking it more the more I got into it. So yesterday, every time I went up to, because, you know, I usually have more than one book on the go at a time, that I flip between books. Like I'll read a few chapters of Pleading the Fish, and then I was going to pick up a few chapters of this book, right? And then I would read a few chapters of Pleading the Fish, and then I'd be like doing some work or something like that. And then I'm like, I'm going to take a little break, maybe on my lunch, and read a few chapters of this book. And I'd pick it up and be like, I'm not interested, and pick back up Pleading the Fish. So I just found I wasn't drawn to it. And then last night I was in sprints with, over on Lee's channel, Dark Roots Creations. I'll leave a link to her below. And, one of the sprints, it was like, okay, I'm going to take this sprint and listen to this book. And I listened to it for about 5 minutes, and I'm like, I really don't have any interest in this book. The writing was great. I've read this author before. She writes a lot, actually, for the Harlequin intrigue or romantic suspense line. I'm not absolutely certain which one. I'm pretty sure she's intrigue. And I really like her books. And this is quite different from that. Like, this is a historical fiction novel. And it's not that I think the story was bad. The story was interesting. My issue is that I think what it was, stopping to think about it now, like I thought about it a bit last night, and I thought about it a bit more this morning when I was making my lunch, was that I didn't like the main character, Jessica. I just found that she had like this huge chip on her shoulder. She'd been told all these things by her mother about her grandmother, and just like, I'm going to dislike you even though I've never met you. And I get that that's a very common thing, especially with children and stuff like that. But like, you're now a grown adult. And the thing is that really annoyed me is that she's hard pressed to dislike this woman. Like, I'm not going to blah, 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 blah. But yet still will get on a plane that the grandmother is paying for and fly to see her in Miami and take her up on, you know, come and stay with me kind of an idea. But I'm not going to, I don't know. I didn't like that. And it's weird because I was looking at the reviews on Goodreads. People love this book. People really enjoyed this book, and it just wasn't for me. So I got about, how far into it did I get? I'd say about 20%. It was only a 300-page book. So what I ended up doing was I did kind of review it on Goodreads, but I did state that I DNF'd it, and this is the reason why. So yeah, so I'm done with that one. So I will not be picking that one up. And it was one of my jar picks as well. So anyway, regardless, what I did end up doing yesterday was getting coerced by the other people in the live show, by Mr. Francie and Tiffany, to read a cozy mystery. So this is being read as a group read over on Mr. Francie's Discord group. I will try and leave linked to it below if I can. I'm a member of the group, but they're reading this cozy mystery called Basket Case, which is the first in a series, the Silver Sticks Craft series or something. I can't remember. Anyway, the cover will be right here. And it's only a 3-book series. So it's not like I'm jumping into some like new huge series. It's only a 3-book series. And I don't know why it ended. I think somebody was saying in the chat that, because I mentioned that, I'm like, oh, there's only 3 books in the series. And that at the time, Berkley was getting rid of a lot of their cozy mystery series because they weren't selling as much, but now they are again. So anyway, there's only 3 books in the series. But to my understanding, it's about, like, I've only just started it. It's about a woman who comes back to this small town to look after her aunt, her elderly aunt. And she's the sleuth, I think. But I think the elderly relative and her friends are also the sleuths, which totally is what sold me. I'm like, senior sleuths? Yes, please. So I'll report back more on this one as I get more of it read. Like I said, I read a chapter yesterday or something like that. So anyway, so that's what I'm currently reading. And that's really all I have to share with you guys in this clip. I thought I would show you my crafting just a little bit, just to kind of, I did a little bit of this on my lunch break yesterday, and then I did some yesterday during the live show, or during the live reading sprints. So I finished off the cardinal. So I think I was like here. So I finished off his little feather on the top of his head. I put the black in, and then I added these branches back here, and I added this snowflake. So not a ton was done yesterday, but a little bit of progress on it. So I thought I'd show you guys that. And yeah, I'm hoping to work on some more tonight, so I will update you guys tomorrow. But anyway, that's it. I am going to relax for a bit and then head off to work, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. Hi BookTube, happy Wednesday. Today is the 11th of May, and it is just before 8:30 in the morning. I'm sitting down with you guys again for a little chat, a little morning chat with my coffee to share with you guys the books that I read yesterday. I'm using my one of my favorite mugs. My broomstick runs on coffee. I wish my car did, because it would be a heck of a lot cheaper than gas prices currently. And that's all I'm going to say about that, that I am very, very grateful that I'm not having to go into the office every single day, and it's only, like 3 days a week. So it makes a big difference, believe me. So quick little bit of context to that quick little 20-second, if that, video that you guys saw just before this, that little clip. So driving home last night, that's the clip. I took that on my lunch break as I was driving home from work, that there was a big, big fire. The town over beside me, it was a storage trailer facility, those what do you call them? People turn them into tiny homes. Those big shipping containers? Those things. A bunch of those caught on fire. Nobody was hurt. Nothing major happened. Some of them were destroyed, which is very unfortunate, but in retrospect, nobody was hurt. It started out, I think, with a van on fire that then caught onto these containers or something like that. So yeah, it was really neat in a way, seeing it as I was driving. I was quite a distance from it, and you could just see the black smoke. So as soon as I got home, I was immediately Google searching it, what was happening. And yeah, caused a lot of traffic jams, because even though the fire was nowhere near the highway, people of course were rubbernecking it to see, oh, can we sit? No, you can't sit, just keep driving. So It's a bit of a slow day for me getting home yesterday. But anyway, on to the reading stuff. So I had a bing light bulb moment yesterday, and I'm not saying, believe me, this is far from the greatest idea ever. This is probably a bad idea, but I decided to try it anyway. So I thought to myself, what if I add all the books that I want to read this week to my currently reading on Goodreads? Wouldn't that be fun? And then every day I will randomly pick a couple books, and those will be the books that I'll focus on that day. Because, like, as it was going, it's like I was reading like 3 books at once, and I'd like read a bit of this one, read a bit of that one. Whereas if I have an ebook and an audiobook on the go, I really did like doing that. I could still switch between books, but the audio was great because anytime I had to do like admin work, or if I was commuting back and forth, or, you know, making my lunch, stuff like that, I could be listening to an audiobook. And then at other times I had a book, an ebook to sit and read. So that is what I've decided to try and do. So I added all 7 to my currently reading, and then I'm going to pick 2 randomly every day. Hopefully, as I get books done, they'll fall off the main list until I get the end goal is to get it all done by Saturday. So let's see how this goes, you guys. Let's see. So I thought I would show you and talk about very quickly the books I read yesterday, and then I will show you guys what's getting read today. So yesterday, I got about halfway through on audio The View from Coral Cove by Amy Clipston. So here I have it on my Kindle because I do have an e-arc copy, but I did go ahead and use a credit on Audible, and pardon me, I got the audio version of it because it was released yesterday. Pardon me, I've got the hiccups, it's from the coffee. And I swear it's just coffee and creamer. It's way too early to add Baileys to the coffee, at least it is for me. So anyway, I'm really enjoying this. This is a inspirational romance. Although, I really can't say that because Amy Clipston does write Christian fiction, and mostly Amish, and I mentioned that already. So I'll talk more about this when I get it done, but from what I've noticed so far, this isn't overtly religious. It's just a sweet romance. So are we just because that's a bad assumption that every sweet romance is faith-based, because it doesn't have to be. You can have a sweet romance that's not faith-based. So I will report back more when I am done the book and let you guys know, like, there has been a couple of talks about God, like 1 or 2, like, and in passing. So this is not like a love inspired. So again, I will report back and let you guys know. I really like the book. So essentially the whole plot of the story is our main character, Maya, has returned home to her summer home of Coral Cove. Yeah, it's in the title. Coral Cove, South Carolina. And her aunt has just passed away. It's a very typical story. We've all read these books 1,000 times within romance, but it's how each one is done. And she comes back because her great aunt, the last of her family, passes away. She's going to be taking over her aunt's toy store in this small community. And she herself is actually a romance writer. And she's written 5 books. Her 6th is due. And she's got writer's block because her boyfriend broke up with her months ago, and she just doesn't believe in love anymore. And that's kind of the premise of the story. And she meets a single dad and blah, 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 blah. So far, halfway through, I'm really enjoying it. The other book that I got halfway through yesterday, which was great. I should have been able to get this done yesterday but I got watching the newest episode of John Oliver that came out on Sunday, so sorry. So I did not get this one done, but I got halfway through Stacey and the Mystery at the Mall by Anne M. Martin, which is the 14th book in the Babysitter's Club mystery series. This one is really fun. In this book, all the kids at Stony Brook Middle School are doing this like work extra credit program where they all get these like little jobs at the mall, and they work there like 2 or 3 days a week for a couple hours, and it's kind of like teaching real life. Like, this is what they're not getting paid. These are all volunteer positions, but it's for a grade essentially, right? So, you know, Stacey's working at this toy store. I love the fact that Christy is working with mall security. Claudia, of course, is working like in the art store, and, you know, Mal's working in the bookstore, and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so there seems to be these thefts, shoplifting happening at the mall, and that's what's happening in this book. So like I said, I'm about halfway through. this did not come up to read today. It'll probably come up tomorrow or the next day, I hope. I'll get it done, and I'll report back to you guys my thoughts on it. But so far, it's really cute. And yes, my hold did come in from the library. I think I mentioned that if my hold didn't come in by Friday, I was going to buy it. But my hold came in yesterday, so the universe must have heard me talking about it. So I immediately decided to pick it up because I know there's other people waiting for it. Because they only have like 1 or 2 copies of the Babysitters Club books. So I like to get them done as quickly as I can so I can return the hold for the next person in line. So anyway, today's reading is going to be Pleading the Fish by Bree Baker. I'm not going to talk about these. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to be reading today. So my audiobook is going to be this one, even though I have a print copy, but supporting the author. I am about 7 chapters of the way through this already. So I'm hoping to get a really good chunk of this listened to today. But I'll report back tomorrow. It'd be great if I could actually finish this today, so we shall see. And I am going to be restarting today the book that you guys picked for me for my my Friday Pick My Next Book video that I do. That's not the one, sorry. It's here on my Kindle, so bear with. Just let me bring up the cover of it. And I did start this one. I got about a chapter or 2 into it, but I'm just going to restart it from the beginning. And that is A Soldier's Dare by Joe McNally. This is the second book in the Fortunes of Texas, the Wedding Gift series. So I've read the first book, and I'm looking forward to the second book. And actually, guys, I'm really kind of liking forcing. I'm not really forcing, but reading books in order, making sure I'm trying to read these series in order. So I have a lot of catching up to do, I have a lot of books that I started halfway through series and stuff, so we'll get there eventually. But yeah, this series is one I'm reading in order, and so far I'm really liking it. So that is it, you guys. Quick little video. I'm going to actually edit this clip and yesterday's clip, and I've been editing this vlog as I go. So I'm going to see how well that works out for me as well. I just feel like I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm just trying to be a bit more organized than I was before, especially with BookTube and stuff like that, because I can be a big procrastinator. So yeah, but it's fun because I like the fact that I am, the one big thing that I've changed is that I think I mentioned this yesterday, that I used to wait until 9 o'clock to get showered and start getting dressed for work. Whereas now I'm doing it as soon as I get out of bed and making my coffee, and then I can sit down here. I have time to talk to you guys. I have time to edit this quick little clip for the vlog, and then I can listen to a bit of my audiobook. I can sit here and relax, maybe do a little bit of stitching in the morning and have my coffee and my downtime, and then I can head off to work. And I'm just trying to, these aren't revolutionary habits, but the fact that I don't feel rushed is a big difference. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm rambling. I will let you guys go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hello, spring. How pretty does this look? On the side of the house. Morning BookTube, happy Thursday. Today is the 12th of May, and again, just after 8:30 this morning, actually. I had a couple things I was doing before I sat down, have my coffee, good morning, and I'm here to talk to you guys about some books. So yesterday, I finished a book. I was so happy. I was maybe 30% of the way through this one, and I flew through it yesterday. I really, really love this. So the book that I finished yesterday, it was Pleading the Fish by Bree Baker, the 7th and final book in the Seaside Cafe mystery series. I loved this. I gave it 4 stars. I know, you're like, well, if you loved it and you gave it 4 stars, and I'm a big, big fan of this series. This actually was not my favorite in the series. I did love the fact that Bree Baker, aka Julianne Lindsay, aka Bree Baker, she knew ahead of time, the publisher told her this is going to be the last book. So she got to end it, the way that she wanted to end it, which is super fantastic. And I really, really liked how this wrapped up. The mystery itself was not as intriguing to me. This was more for me reading, the wrapping up of the series. I don't want to get into too many spoilers in this book. So for those of you who have not read this series, but I can tell you I really enjoyed this one. And outside of this book, all of the books are great. Closely Harbored Secrets is probably still my favorite. It's the 5th book. It's the one that takes place at Halloween. And I think it's my favorite because there is a slightly ghost element to it. There's nothing paranormal, but because it takes place over Halloween, there's a kind of a ghosty element to it, which I love. But I like this. I liked how it wrapped up. I love how it ended right up until the epilogues. I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I thought that this was absolutely fantastic. Like I said, 4 stars. This would have gotten a 4.5, maybe even I don't know if it would have gotten a 5, but it definitely was on track to get a 4.5 until I got to the epilogues. So I'm actually going to put a timestamp in down below. So I timestamp for each of the books that I talk about, but I'm going to put a separate timestamp just for the end of the spoilers for this book. So if you have not read this yet and you don't, I don't think in retrospect that these are actually spoilers, but I don't want to ruin the reading experience for anyone else who has not read this one yet, or what's the word I'm looking for? Influence their reading of it in any way. So if you have not read this yet and you don't, or you know what I mean, description box below, Pleading the Fish, spoilers, click on the whatever number it is, whatever timestamp it is, and that will jump you ahead to when I'm done talking spoilers. So I'll give you just a second to do that. Okay, so spoilers. There are 3 epilogues in this book. The first epilogue I loved. So it was Grady and Everly's wedding. Why do I want to call her Evelyn, but it's Everly's wedding. And I loved it. And the final scene in that epilogue? It's her and the aunts. I think. Yeah, it's her and the aunts, and she's about to walk down the aisle, and both aunts are giving her a hug, and I'm just like, the aunts are my favorite character. Clara and Fran are like my favorite characters in this book, or in this series, and I loved it. I absolutely loved that part. So I'm like, yay, that was great, and of course I'm listening to it on audio, so I didn't know, right? And then it's like, epilogue. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought there was an error with the audiobook. And then it's like, epilogue, Denver. So it's Grady's son, Evelyn's stepson. He's like, I think 8. So he has a little epilogue. And it takes place a year after the wedding. And it's, they're taking her to the hospital because she's having a baby. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. And it's told from Denver's perspective, from this little boy's perspective. It was really cute, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, okay, that's fine. That's fun, whatever. And then it's finishes that. And then it's like epilogue. And I'm like, what the heck? So then comes the 3rd epilogue. And this is where it went for me. Okay. So and I'm not knocking any author. Julianne Lindsay, she is amazing. I love this series so, so much. And I love that this was her choice to do this. This is how she wanted to end the series. And I'm not knocking that, but it didn't work for me. That's a reminder to make sure that I turn my work phone off when I'm done for the day. I'm not answering that. I don't start for hours. And I'm going in the office today anyway. So anyway, the 2nd epilogue takes place 22 years in the future. And Grady and Everly, I keep blanking on her name. Grady and Everly's daughter that she gave birth to in the 2nd epilogue, just a second ago, is now having a baby. So they're all like frantic at the hospital, blah, 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 blah. There's some complications. But here's where I had an issue with it. So at the end of that 1st epilogue, when we had her with her aunts and they were all hugging just before she walked down the aisle. In my mind, when I closed this book, like if I was reading it and I closed the book and I put the book on my shelf, in my mind, all the characters in charm, Everly and Grady and Denver and Clara and Fran and Amelia and Denise, and everybody is in charm and they're still there. And they're all still happy, and they're enjoying their lives and the sunshine and whatever, right? That's what happened at the end. Part of me wishes I'd stopped reading at that point. So again, we got Denver's perspective. It was fine. was fine. Whatever, it was fine. I didn't say how it was needed, but it was fine. Whatever. But then we get to this third epilogue. This is where it went for me. And so this is the giant spoiler part of it, is that, well, it's not really, but their daughter has twin girls, and she names them Fran and Clara in memory of the aunts who are now dead. And I'm like, so at the end of this book, the aunts are dead. Full stop. And that depressed me. You know that whole book hangover thing that people talk about? How, oh, I don't know what. And literally, after I was done reading this, I was like in like just complete like and utter like, well, that's sad. No longer am I seeing the aunts in my head with Everly and Grady and Denver and all of them frolicking on the beach or working in their honeybee shop or anything like that. They're dead. Like we went 22 years in the future and they are deceased. And it's a writing choice as the author. She made that choice to include that, and that's what she wanted to do, and that's fine. As the reader, it doesn't mean I have to like it, and I didn't, so that's that. Anyway, end of spoilers, so the timestamp will go here. But yeah, so welcome back to all of you who did not want to hear me ramble on about the spoilers. If you did listen to that and you have thoughts, because I did mention this to Nicole and Aaron, who are the huge, like Nicole does like the weekly or bi-weekly live shows talking about Julianne Lindsay's books and other authors' books and stuff like that. So I mentioned it to them, and then both of them thought I was crazy and thought, I'm sure they thought I was crazy and they loved it. But let me know in the comment section below, like, I don't know, am I being nitpicky? It was a thing. Anyway, so I finished that yesterday. So the other reading that I got done yesterday is that I did get about 30% of the way through A Soldier's Dare by Joe McNally. I am really enjoying this one. So this is the second book in the Fortunes of Texas, the Wedding Gift series. And in this story, we have our main characters are Belle, it's just Belle, not Bella. Belle and Jack. And Belle is a fortune. The Fortunes of Texas are this series has been going on for like 20 years, but there's mini series within series. So like I said, this is the second book in this mini series, but there are a lot of characters you're being introduced to in these books, but don't let that dissuade you from reading them, because really just focus on the two main characters that are being discussed, like that the story is about. So Jack is just back from serving overseas in the military. He's trying to figure out how to return back to civilian life. And Belle has moved from New Orleans to Texas, and she's helping her brothers start their construction company. But she has a dream of opening her own boutique. And the two of them meet by chance. They're very different people. He is rugged. He's a former, military officer, and she is the pampered princess, youngest in a very well-to-do family. Like, it's nothing to her to go and shop and spend all this money, and she doesn't blink an eye at it. So they're very, very different people. But she has her eyes set on this guy that she wants. Like, one of her big goals, along with opening her own boutique, is to meet and marry this guy. She kind of has her heart set on this one guy, not because she loves him, but because she thinks that they'd be good together, essentially. But he's not paying her any attention. So she kind of uses, like, Jack knows, but they're kind of like, she's kind of using him to get Stefan's attention, if you will. So that's where the dare comes in, is that he dares her to kiss him. So then the story goes from there. Like I said, I'm about 30% of the way through it. I'm really enjoying it. So that is a good thing. So what am I going to be reading today? Because I spun the wheel before I sat down, and I really enjoyed doing that yesterday, and I'm enjoying it again. So with the two books that came up, I should actually get both of them done today, which is very exciting. So the first book, the audiobook that I'm hoping to finish today, is The View from Coral Cove by Amy Clipston. I have about half of this left. I think I've got like maybe 3 or 4 hours of listening time left. I legitimately should be able to get that done on my way to and from the office today, so we shall see. But my goal is to finish that one today. The other one, my ebook for the day, will be Stacey and the Mystery at the Mall by Ann M. Martin. And this one I'm about halfway through, and I should get this one done today. No problem. If I sit over my lunch, well, no, I'll be driving home on my lunch break. But like after work, if I just sit for a half an hour or an hour, I will get this done, no problem. And if I get the audiobook and ebook done and I still have reading time today, I'll spin the wheel again and come up with something. So yeah. So anyway, so that's that. Before I let you guys go for this clip, sorry for the noise, I want to show you guys my crafting. Because what I'm trying to do now with my cross stitch is pick a pattern. Like I have all my patterns for the month on a wheel, another spinning wheel. I love doing that to pick stuff. And I then pick something and I work on it for 3 days. So I worked on the Christmas birds for the last 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So today I'm going to do something different. So I took it out of the frame because I'm going to pop the new one in the frame, the one that I'm going to be doing. So there's where I got. So I got the bird done. I got these little baubles done on the tree branches, and I got this, I think it's a pine cone. But this is like I said, it's a, whatchamacallit. It's a sampler. So you're getting all these little random pictures throughout. So that's what I've gotten done so far. But now it's going to go away until I spin it again. And yeah, this is probably going to be on the wheel every single month regardless, because I want to get it done for Christmas. So, but I do like breaking. I'm not a like same as with reading. I'm not a I don't like to just stitch on one thing at a time. So the other pattern, the pattern that got picked for today, I'm very excited, or for today, so Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'll be working on this, is Moons Out, Brooms Out by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I didn't put it in the frame because I wanted you guys to see the whole kit and caboodle right now. But isn't she gorgeous? I love her. I absolutely love her. So I'll be doing some more work on, this is just a random piece of, so I've got to finish, I'm working on the moon, which is behind her head, which is what I'm doing right there. So from up close, it does not, like, it's, with cross stitch, it's really neat. Like, when you're stitching on the piece, you kind of notice, like, I made a little mistake there, or I did this. But when it's back like this, which is how you're supposed to look at it, because you're not staring at stuff, like, right up front. I mean, I love the broom. Like, the shading in the broom is just, the design on this is just fabulous. So I'll leave a link to this pattern below as well, in case you guys want to go ahead and pick it up yourselves. So I will be working on that today, and I'll show you guys updates as we kind of go. But that's it, guys. That's it for today's clip. I have a feeling this vlog is going to be a little bit longer because I've been sitting down with you every day. I hope that's okay. I hope you're all cool with that. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi BookTube, happy Friday. Happy Friday the 13th, actually. You know, it's whatever. It's a superstitious day to some people. Not to me. I have a black cat constantly crossing my path. And other than him trying to trip me, it's really not that big a deal. But happy Friday the 13th. So it is also payday, which is always a good day. So hit up McDonald's this morning for a coffee. Big treat of the day. I am working from home today, so I'm very happy about that as well. And yeah, I'm here to sit down with you guys. I know this vlog is going to be long because I've been editing as I go. So it makes it a lot easier at the very end, like tomorrow or whatever when I finish it off. So it's going to be a longer vlog because I've been sitting down with you guys every day, so I hope that's cool. But I do have 2 books to review that I finished yesterday. So let's jump into that right off the bat. So the first book that I finished was The View from Coral Cove by Amy Clipston. I did have this one from NetGalley, so thank you very much to NetGalley and the publisher for sending me an e-art copy. I did end up listening to it on audio. So this book started out so good. I was really enjoying it at the beginning. I've read Amy Clipston before. She writes predominantly Amish inspirational romance, and her books are delightful. This one just did not work for me. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. The reason it got 3 stars is because her writing is fantastic. Like, she can write. She is a really, really fantastic writer. Also, the setting was just, for me especially, it was very nostalgic. The entire book takes place in a small fictional town called Coral Cove in South Carolina. And I spent a lot of summers, summer vacations, going to, for about a decade, we went to Myrtle Beach every summer for 2 weeks. And then later on we went to Virginia Beach. So that beach community is very nostalgic for me, especially in the summertime. And with the weather turning and being so much nicer now and the trees are starting to get their leaves, this was just like the perfect time for me to read this book, because as I was listening to the book, like driving back and forth to work, I could almost like, she paints such a picture of a location. And it's like, you could smell the salt air, you could, hear the boardwalk, do you know what I mean? From that very small beachy community in the South, right? So yeah, that part of it was great. What didn't work for me was the characters. And, I love the plot. It's a very standard plot. I talked about this before. I thought it was really cute. So it's about a woman named Maya, who is a romance author, and she has a bit of writer's block because prior to the story starting, her ex dumped her and went off to take a job in London, England, and didn't ask her to come with him, right? So then her aunt passes away and she moves from, I think, Charlotte to this small town to run her aunt's toy shop. So on the very first day she's there, she's kind of cleaning up the store. It's after the funeral. This little kitten runs into this, because she has the back door open to let the sea breeze in. And this little kitten runs in, and it but this little girl named Ashlyn, I believe. They kept calling her Ash. So it's Ashlyn. The kitten they're doing like a adoption program. Her father, Brody, is a local vet. So her and Brody meet. It's the romance between the two of them. The story kind of goes from there. It's a very typical story. Like when I was saying this a couple days ago, like we have all read, you could probably sit down if you really thought about it and list 5 books that have this premise. Not with the whole kitten thing, but with like a relative passing away or something like that, and somebody being left something and having to go and either live in the house, fix up the house, run the business. It's a very standard trope, if you will, within romance. And I'm fine with that. That's not my issue. My issue is that Maya drove me crazy. She was just, the both of them. Again, this happens a lot in romance novels, and I'm, most of the time you take it with a grain of salt. Lack of communication. If only the two characters would talk, all of this would have been avoided, kind of a scenario. But this, I just felt like took it to the extreme. So, the two of them are mostly friends throughout the bulk of the book, which I thought was really, really cute and really sweet. And she really bonds with Ashlyn. Maya really bonds with Ashlyn, right? Maya herself really wants a family. She's got no family left. There's a whole side story with this guy who might be her father, which I'm not even going to get into because that was a little like... So the whole side story, giving you guys just a little piece of that one, is that she never knew who her father was. Her mother said he left them. So she's always had kind of these abandonment issues, which is understandable. And I'm not knocking that at all. But then after her aunt dies, she leaves her this letter that, oh, blah, 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 this is your dad's name, blah, blah, blah. So she hunts him out on Facebook and finds him. And then they talk for a while. And then he's like, I want to come down and meet you. I'll stay in a hotel. We'll go for dinner. That kind of a thing. And she's losing her mind. Like, oh my God, what if he's trying to take me for something? What if he's a scam artist? And I'm thinking to myself, you reached out to him. He had no clue who you were until you reached out to him. And I mean, she seemed very, very immature. That's the best way I can describe it. She seemed immature. So that was that whole bit about that. And then with Brody, like, she knew off the bat because he told her, I'm not ready for a commitment right now. My focus is Ashlyn. It's my daughter. You know what I mean? Which is commendable. That's his decision. He needed to come to terms with, whether he wanted to be in a committed relationship or not. And he was just enjoying spending time with her and being friends and things like that. And then she decides, well, I'm going to tell him I love him. And he's going to reply back and everybody's going to be so happy. So she tells him, and he's like, I told you. Yes, I care about you very, very much. That's not the point. The point is that I'm not ready for this yet. And she gets angry at him. You can't get angry at him for something that he told you. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't lead you on. He was straightforward at the beginning. And then, this is what, I was sitting listening to it in my car driving home from work yesterday, and I'm like, and then her ex shows up at her front door. And he's like, hey, I want to talk, blah, 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 blah. So they go out to dinner, and spoiler alert, whatever. He asks her to marry him again. He's like, I made a big mistake. She says yes. She says yes because she wants a family, and he will give her that family. So in my mind, if I was Brody listening to this, if I, stepping back from the story, and this is what annoyed me, was that, does she love Brody, or does she love the idea of Brody? The fact that Brody has a ready-made family, that he's got a daughter that she cares about. And that is something that if I was the Brody character, I would be questioning that. If you just suddenly, literally the day after the two of you split up, you agree to marry somebody else, there's something going on there. And it's not like she kind of did it because it was like a big scene in the restaurant kind of a scenario. But then she didn't rectify it till days later. 3 stars. Did not love our characters. However, all that being said, again, I love Amy Clipston's writing. I love the small town. I want more stories in this town because we meet other characters, and I'm like, I would like more stories from this Coral Cove place. I just didn't jive with these characters. Anyway, so that's the first book that I finished this week. Or yesterday, I should say. The other book I finished yesterday was Stacey and the Mystery at the Mall by Ann M. Martin, book 14 in the Babysitters Club mystery series. I gave this book 3.5 stars. I really liked it. It was super fun. So essentially the babysitters all get these jobs at the mall with a school work program kind of an idea, like to learn what it's like living as an adult and doing adult things. Like there's other classes that they take, like balancing a checkbook and, a mortgage and these like things that you need to know when you get older, right? Like how to cook and how to clean and how to, which is fantastic. Kind of like a home ec, math, all these things. Anyway, so they've all got these jobs at the mall. And there's some funny business going on that there's shoplifters happening, and then there's like some bigger things being stolen. So of course the babysitters are on the case. I did not remember this one until I was about 75% of the way through it. And then I went, yes, I remember where this one was going. But it was a really interesting mystery. I did enjoy it a lot. I am a big fan of this series. You guys know that. I'm reading one every month. And yeah, I enjoyed it. 3.5 stars. So that's really all that I read yesterday. I did, though, pick up... I read the first chapter in Wrangling the Rich Rancher by Sheri Whitefeather. This is the first book in the Sons of Country series. This is another one I want to get to this week. I still have today and tomorrow to finish. This one, I have 3 more books. I have this one. I have A Soldier's Dare, which I've already started, and the Homewreckers by Mary Kay Andrews, which I'm starting today. So those are the 3 books I want to finish by tomorrow night. I think I can do it. I think it'll be fine because the Harlequin books are the one beauty thing about the Harlequin books is that they're shorter. Like they're not a typical 300 to 300 page, 300 to 350 page romance novel. You can get through them relatively quickly. So that is my game plan. I did start this one yesterday. I'll talk more about it tomorrow because I don't have many thoughts on it just yet. But yeah, the one thing though I was reading, I had started that book Basket Case by Nancy Haddock. It's the first in a cozy mystery series. I started listening to it so I finished the Amy Clipston book and I'm like, oh, I'm going to listen to audio for a little bit. And I put it back on. I started listening to it again. I'm like, wait, where am I? What's happening? Because I had only listened to it for about a half an hour on Monday, and I would have had to restart it. And I had talked to a couple of people, and a lot of people were saying it's kind of slow, and I'm like, I really wanted to read the Mary Kay Andrews book, and it's like 14 hours long on audio, and I have it on audio from NetGalley, so I'm like, that's my bigger priority right now. So I DNF'd the Basket Case book for now. Eventually, down the line, at some point, I will get back to it. It could be a year from now, maybe not ever. I don't know. We shall see if I come across it and I decide to pick it up. But for now, DNFing it. Nothing wrong with it. it's just not my priority for this week. So my goals for today is I want to get at least half of the Homewreckers book read, and I want to get some more of the 2 Harlequin books read. But like I said, my goals for this week are for the rest of the next couple of days are to read those. So hold on just 1 second here. There it is. So I haven't... So there's the cover of The Homewreckers by Mary Kay Andrews. So yeah, like I said, got this on NetGalley Audio. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah. So that's it, you guys. Not too much else. And yeah, like I said, this vlog's going to be pretty long as it is, so I'll try and keep this brief. Whatever. Anyway, it's not going to happen. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Morning, friends. Happy Saturday. Today is the 14th of May, and it is just before 8 a.m. I am up. I have been out of the house already. I was up early this morning because I was in bed a bit early last night, and I took Garrett over to Wendy's because we in Canada now have, Wendy's now has breakfast. So, a couple weeks ago, we went when they started serving it. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. And, pardon me, and he really liked the breakfast Baconator. So we were joking about that this morning, and I said, oh, something about, did you want Wendy's? He's like, yeah. So we went over. I had it a couple weeks ago. I wasn't completely impressed. I find Wendy's to be a little bit pricey for like his breakfast Baconator. So he got the breakfast Baconator with the hash browns and a coffee because we got the combo, was like $10. And I'm like, I can go to McDonald's and get like a breakfast thing for like $5 or $6. So anyway, that's not the point. Got coffee. So I'm drinking my coffee. I had a bowl of Rice Krispies this morning. That was my breakfast. I have to go and get blood work done this morning at 10 o'clock. That's my big, most important plan of the day. My second most important plan of the day is Bree and I are doing an interview with author Stacey for the Categorically Romance podcast. She's been on the podcast before. She's a Thule author. We're going to have her on again. Very excited. We tried to record this on Thursday, but there were some technical issues, so we're trying again today. Fingers crossed. And then I have live reading sprints over on Tiffany at the Beach Bum Bookworms channel, which I'll leave linked below. And yeah, that's my day today. Plus, I want to finish 3 books. So I kind of had this one thought last night that there was one of the 3 books that I'm not enjoying as much as the others, and that's Wrangling the Rich Rancher by Sheri Whitefeather. It's a desire novel. I don't hate it. It's a fun story. It's a desire. I mean, these are not meant to be like Pulitzer Prize winning. Let's be real. As much as I love category, that's the situation, right? But I am enjoying it. But this part of me was like, oh, maybe I'll DNF it. And then I started thinking to myself last night, I'm like, do you want to DNF it because you don't enjoy it, or because you have this silly goal in your head to finish all the books that you're reading by Saturday night? Like, because I give myself a weekly TBR. And then I decided last night, it's fine. If I don't finish these 3 books by tonight, or if one of these books doesn't get done, or whatever the case may be, if I carry 1 or 2 or all 3 of them over to Sunday, that's okay. But my goal for today is I really want to work on and definitely finish Homewreckers by Mary Kay Andrews. I started it yesterday. It's so good, you guys. I've gotten about 40% of the way through it, but I was busy. Like yesterday, I was on the phones quite a bit at work. So I didn't have a lot of admin time to listen to audio where I will today. Like when I go for my blood work and stuff, I'm just going to pop my earbud in and just like drive over there, wait in the waiting room while I'm waiting. You know what I mean? Like it's probably going to be a good 45 minutes worth of just going there, between going there, waiting there, and coming back to do audiobook listening, which is going to be fantastic. I can also do it during the reading sprint. So my goal is to get that one done today for sure. My second goal is I do want to finish Wrangling the Rich Rancher, because between that one and the other book, A Soldier's Dare, that one, the Sheri Whitefeather book, I have less of it to finish. So I want to get that one done first, and then I'll work on A Soldier's Dare. And if I have to carry over A Soldier's Dare, that's no problem at all. I'll carry it over till tomorrow, whatever, I'll finish it then. It's not a big deal. It's just reading. So anyway, that is that. That's my plans for today. I will probably not check in again today, but as I've been doing the last few weeks, I will check in for my final clip tomorrow and give you guys an update. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys then. Bye, guys. Hi friends, happy Sunday. Today is the 15th of May, and as I've been doing for the past few weeks, I am ending off a weekly vlog with a quick Sunday clip to give you guys an update for what I finished yesterday. So, I finished a book, I DNF'd a book, I'm carrying a book over, and I went to the mall and bought a few books. So, I'll make this clip as quick as I possibly can because I know this vlog has been super long. I think because I've been updating every day, which, I mean, I have been enjoying doing that, but it makes for a longer vlog because I like to do this. So, let's start off with the bad stuff. So I did decide to DNF a book yesterday. I did decide to DNF Wrangling, the Rich Rancher by Sheri Whitefeather. I really debated on this one. I had talked about this one in my last clip. Did I want to drop it just because I knew I wasn't going to finish it before the end of the week and I had this stupid goal in my head, blah, blah, blah. But I finished the book that I finished yesterday, and last night the Leaf game was on, which they lost, unfortunately, and I was going to sit down and do some reading while my husband was watching the game. And I picked this one up. I literally read 2 pages of it and went, no, I'm done. This book really bothered me. So the whole premise of this, because I don't think I've talked about what the premise was. So this is the first in a series called The Sons of Country. Now, I actually listed this on my DNF shelf on Goodreads. I do have a shelf that's labeled DNF. It's an exclusive shelf, so it doesn't show that I've read it or not read it. It just shows that I DNF'd it. And I did that because I do want to read the next 2 books in the series. I had no problem with the writing or anything at all like that. It was the characters in this one. So the premise of this series is about a character by the name of Kirby, and he is a very famous country music star. And the author's note at the beginning from Sheri Whitefeather, she likes country music. She's not a huge country music fan, but she likes country music. And she based the character of Kirby off of Waylon Jennings. Kind of that outlaw country singer. And the 3 books in the series are about his sons. So this first book is actually about his illegitimate son. So our main character, Libby, in this story, she is actually writing the biography, Kirby's biography. She's been hired by him. He's not sick, he's not dying, he just wants to write his biography. And she goes to his illegitimate son, Matt's ranch, because she wants to interview him for the book. And he's like, no, I don't, he never acknowledged me as a child. Why should I cater to him now? Which he's well within his rights to say. And if she was a normal reporter person, I'm assuming, she'd be like, all right, I understand, thanks so much. But no, I got 3 or 4 chapters in, all she has done is hound him about being like, let her interview him for the book. Let this interview happen for the book, blah, blah, blah. And it really grated on my nerves. He said no. He said he wasn't interested. But then there's this whole sexual chemistry between the 2 of them. It's a desire novel. I don't like that slight, I don't want to use the term bullying because that's a very harsh term to use. But she was being very aggressive with him in terms of, I want you in the book. This is going to make or break my career kind of an idea. She could have done the book without him. It just would have been, and she even says it, anything that we get about you, he's going to say that you are his son, but he doesn't want that. And if, I don't know, it really annoyed me. And like I said, I got 2 more pages in yesterday and I'm like, no, I'm done. So I do want to read the next 2 books about the other 2 sons because I've read Sheri Whitefeather before and I like her books quite a bit. I just didn't jive with our main female lead in this book, DNF. The book that I did finish yesterday, thankfully, was fantastic. So yesterday on audio, actually, I finished listening to The Homewreckers by Mary Kay Andrews. I gave this book 4.5 stars. Thank you very much to NetGalley and to the publisher for both an e-art copy and an e-audio copy. So I did have the audio from NetGalley. It was narrated by Kate McKierney, I believe it is, and she's actually the narrator for the Linda Castillo, the Kate Burkholder books. So it took me a few minutes to switch gears in my brain that the audio, this wasn't a gritty Amish thriller. This was going to be a summer beach read. So again, 4.5 stars. This book just proves why Mary Kay Andrews is the queen of summer beach reads. Like, she is just the queen. And I loved this so, so much. So this book is essentially about our main character, Hattie. And years earlier, her husband passed away, so she's a widow, and she works with her husband's family. She's worked with them since she was a teenager in their construction business, but they also flip houses. So this movie producer, or TV producer for a home and garden television type channel, shows up at one of the houses that she's restoring to flip in Savannah, Georgia. He's like, hey, I have this idea for a show, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to be on it? So some back and forth, they finally decide to do this TV show. So the whole premise of the book is that they're doing this TV show, and there was this mystery from like almost 20 years ago with Hattie's a teacher in her school who suddenly went missing one night, and they get this house on Tybee Island, just outside of Savannah, and they're restoring it, and they find that woman's wallet in the wall from like almost 20 years ago. And then there's that mystery element. So there's romance, there's mystery, there's like, if this is like a women's fiction novel, it's a longer book. It's like 450 pages long. It was about 14 and a half hours long on audio. I finished it in 2 days, you guys. It was that good. It was so, so good. I highly recommend that you check it out. So, there is swearing in this book. I don't know why in my head I thought Mary Kay Andrews was like, you know, no swearing and stuff like that. But I heard Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books, her voice in my head. There's foul language. So there is some foul language in this. In my opinion, it fit, like, one of the characters definitely has a potty mouth, but it suits her character. Does that make sense? It's not that all the characters do it. It's like that one, it's like the producer woman, not the guy. But not the guy who talks to Hattie originally, but like his boss at the TV station. She's that very aggressive kind of, you know, personality. And like the joke is during the book is that he has a ringtone for her, and the ringtone is the theme from Jaws. So it suits her character. And then there's a couple other instances where characters will say the F word. And it's kind of like, okay, I probably would have done that in that situation as well. You know, that kind of a scenario. There is some adult content, but everything is behind closed doors. It's alluded to. And yeah, this was such a fun summer beach read. I was talking to my friend Bree about like the whole term beach read and where it comes from. And I just really feel like this is the kind of book that, you know, if you were going on vacation for a week, even if you were going on a staycation and you were like just going to be sitting around in your backyard, you know, with your feet in your kitty's, you know, little swimming pool, this is the kind of book that you could like go to the store, you spend your 20 some odd dollars on it, you know, or on Kindle, and you've got a 450 page book that is full of like, again, romance, mystery, you know, all the things, friendships, family. It gives you everything. And you know, you can enjoy it over the course of your vacation or staycation or whatever. So anyway, loved it. But this book has also prompted that next week I'm going to be doing a video on the channel about summer beach reads. And I'm going to be doing a recommendations video for some other summer beach reads that I think that you guys might want to check out. So anyway, loved it, loved it, loved it. Highly recommend that you check it out. So that's that. Quickly, I went to the mall yesterday, and I was not planning on going into the bookstore, but I went into the bookstore. I went to Indigo, Chapters Indigo up here. It's the Canadian version of Barnes & Noble. And I saw a couple books, and I decided to pick them up. So they were both on sale. So first of all, I've seen this book all over the place. I see it quite a bit on Bookstagram, and I also see it on Audible, because it's part of the Audible Plus package. Like if you have the Audible Plus, you can listen to it for free. And it's called The Stand-In, and it's by Lily Chu. And it's the cover. The cover of this book just draws me in. I might read this one next month because it just looks really good. So yeah, this is How to Upend Your Life. Get fired by a gross, handsy boss, fail to do the laundry again, be mistaken for a famous Chinese actress, fall headfirst into a glitzy new world. So that's all I'm going to read. So clearly it sounds like maybe a Princess and the Pauper kind of a scenario. So yeah, I'm very interested. I saw it. It was only $15, which is why I picked it up. So yay. And then the other one that was only $15 was on the table. I looked at this one and I'm like, oh, I love the cover. And then I read the back and I'm like, that sounds really good. And I brought it to the checkout counter, and the woman working, she said that they've sold a lot of these, that they really seem to be flying off the shelves. So whether it's because it was on sale for $15 and people are taking a chance on it or what. But it's called The Last Queen, and it's by, I'm going to say her name wrong and I apologize greatly, Chitra Banerjee Divakarani, I think. So there's the author's name at the bottom. But look at that cover, you guys. So this is a historical fiction novel. I'm just going to read just this little bit at the back here. It says, a novel of courage and resistance. So it says, she rose from insignificance to become the last reigning queen of India's chic empire. In this dazzling novel based on true life events, best-selling author presents the unforgettable story of Jindan, who transforms herself from daughter of the royal kennel keeper to powerful monarch. Doesn't that sound good? I love, you know, like based on true life stories about someone in history that I've never heard of. And yeah, I am very, very invested. Like, this sounds really good. So I will report back, you guys, because yeah, it looks really, I mean, for $15, you can't go wrong with that, right? So yeah, so those are the books that I got yesterday. But anyway, guys, that's it. Long vlog. Again, my sincerest apologies. I hope you guys liked it. And until next time, take care and happy reading, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.